Perhaps you've seen it. Maybe in a dream. A murky, forgotten land.
I came across Dark Souls when I was recovering from a really brutal sinus infection. And I just saw that the Xbox store was having a sale. I saw this game called Dark Souls Scholar of the First Sin, and just this title hinted at some sort of enigmatic something. It's at a shadowy world afflicted by some arcane, philosophical, metaphysical condition. Something that I might be interested in. And it was $12, and with good reviews, why not? I downloaded it and started playing, and you begin with just this vague cinematic opening, and the character wakes up in some very unknown place called Things Betwixt, and the only guidance you're given is that you're facing a certain direction, that you're vaguely hinted at going forward, and nothing really throughout the game is explained to you or handed out to you easily. Nothing is given to you easily in this game, whether it's success or information. There's pieces of this lore and guidance scattered around the world in the form of character interactions and, oddly enough, item descriptions. So the way this game starts is you're just dropped into a world. It's a world with history, places to explore, and obstacles to overcome. And as I was playing this game, it was hard not to make a comparison between the structure of this game and just life in general. With life, you're also dropped into a world and you're left to figure out everything by yourself. Yeah, sure, you can interact with other people and they can give you what they think to be guidance or feedback. But really, you're just part of this flow, making everything up as you go along. And you're left on your own to decide whether or not this advice that they give you is worthwhile or not. And it's similar in the game that you're just put in this world and you can find out information on your own. You can have other players can write messages on the ground for you to read that can give you hints about what you should do, if you should go here, if you should attack the boss with a certain style of weapon or something. But it's not always believable. I mean, they could just be making it up, and a lot of times these writings on the ground are meant to be misleading. But really what stands out about this game and its unique structure, even compared to the other games in the series, which I've played by now, it's this Dark Souls 2 game. It punishes you by every time you fail, you come back. You have unlimited lives, of course, but every time you come back, you're weaker, you have less health, and you lose all your souls that you've acquired. The souls being the in-game currency that you use to level up or buy new materials, weapons, items, armor, stuff like that.
Oh my, your face. You're finished. F you.
And the only way to succeed is to get through everything by learning the patterns that lead to success. So for example, if you've made it through an entire level, you've gone and you've started fighting the boss, you die. You lose all your souls, you drop them right there. You wake up at the previous bonfire from which you resurrect each time with less health, and then again you have to fight your way back through that entire level through all these enemies who respawn every time you die, and make it back to the point where you had already died to begin with, but you're weaker again. And I mean, you can reverse this process using some in-game items, but they're not very common, and you spend most of the game in this weakened state, or at least I do. And I found myself again comparing this to life, that you will face a lot of challenges and fail countless times. I've been working to publish some novels that I've written, and I've been rejected many times, and it's, it takes something out of you each time you fail at something. You can be left with less resolve to finally finish your goal if you're hitting all these obstacles and these setbacks. And much like in the game, the lore is that if you become eventually so weak and hollowed, they say, that you just become a mindless thing that preys upon the souls of the living, Whereas in real life, if you allow setbacks and defeat to discourage you to a certain point, you also do become sort of hollow, and your only satisfaction can be to bring other people down to your level. You see people like this throughout the world every day. And it's a bit disheartening in a way, but it's very accurate. And so you're left with two choices ultimately in the game and in life. You can either push past these obstacles and learn and adapt and figure out what works and what doesn't, or you can just become weaker and weaker and pushed down by these tribulations and setbacks until you've just given up. On a more positive note, this game also, some praise that I have for it comes in the form of its worlds, the actual physical worlds in which you play through. They're fantastic and amazing and dismal at times, haunting. You encounter so many different levels designed in so many different ways and different enemies, and it's visually very, very appealing. You are left and you get to explore this world as much as you want. You can find secret passages, you can find different routes, you can meet hidden characters, you can meet hidden bosses, and it's all very visually appealing. But really there's plenty of games with very good level design and very good gameplay, but a third factor that some games miss out on that really makes a game great is the sound. And by the sound, I mean not only just the musical score, but also any other audio aspects of the game. For this one, for example, the music is fantastic. It doesn't exist for the sake of simply elevating your excitement during the gameplay. While I'm no expert on music, this, to me, it seems to really reflect what you are doing at that moment. For example, in the first Dark Souls game, you're fighting this final boss, the final challenge in the game, this Gwyn, Lord of Cinder. And you would expect it to be something very epic, something that would keep you on the edge of your seat, that would get your blood pumping, because this is your final challenge before you've completed this goal that you've been working towards. But instead, it's this very mournful piano dirge. It's something that makes you realize what you are doing is not defeating some great evil or conquering a tyrant, but rather you are putting to rest the hollow shell of a former great lord who failed in his task and now just kind of shambles on in this weakened form. And what you are doing is you're not conquering it, you're not achieving some great victory, you're simply putting him out of the way so that you can continue on with your own mission. And that's what a lot of these actual fights in the game are, and the soundtrack helps you realize that you're not some conquering hero defeating great evils. You're rather just another one of these chosen souls that is seeking to do this ultimate goal of linking the fire, and you are putting out of their misery kind of these other ones who have come before you and failed in that task. And the music aside, the rest of the game, the sound is suitable to the gameplay perfectly. You can be wandering through a dungeon, and there's not some music trying to keep you on your toes, like trying to keep you alert or feel some suspense. You can be met with complete silence, as you would be if you're walking through a dungeon. All you hear are your own footsteps echoing off the walls, or the footsteps of some approaching foe echoing off the walls. But the sound that stands out the most to me is this whispering, humming crackle of the bonfires, and the sense of comfort that they bring, because these bonfires are the only places in the game that you can have real rest. There's no pause button in the game. It continues on from the minute you start until the minute you exit the game. You can't pause. All you can do is look for a place of respite. And these bonfires, they do this with this mixture of a sinister and comforting sound. It's sinister because the bonfire is fueled by the bones of fellow undead like your character, who have given up and failed to continue in their goal. But they bring you place of peace. And it's a bit a reflective moment, more than any game should be able to, make you do so. But really, Dark Souls uses sound for all it's worth. It uses it as a way to emphasize the story rather than distract from the absence of one. It uses it as a way to reflect on what you're doing and not to provoke you to just keep moving. So overall, in the end, this is a game that I think will satisfy anyone looking for a challenge. There's a deep lore, the complexity of which could rival even J.R.R. Tolkien's worlds. And even though there's not going to be any more Souls games, I am very satisfied with the 3 that there are, and that I can replay them and find new quest lines and new areas to explore each time. And I will also, of course, be patiently waiting for Hidetaka Miyazaki's next release. So, thanks for watching my first effort at making a YouTube video. I plan on making more in the future, so if you would like to see some more things about video games or art or literature or travel, whatever in between, go ahead, maybe subscribe to my channel, it won't hurt. And I look forward to producing more things and just sharing them with you. So, thanks for watching. Yeah.